again. I am so slacking lately. Today I was out on the boat. I literally got off the boat, drove home, took a shower, did my hair, did my makeup, and sat down. So as everyone sees, Rod is here. He's not feeling well. And Troy graciously, I gave him like 20 minutes notice, guys. Troy graciously is filling in for me for Rod because I want Rod to get some rest and feel better. Yes, we did miss Marcia, and Marcia is backstage helping me grab your questions as well. So special thank you to Marcia. And she's here every week posting links for us to everybody's channels and all of that fun stuff. So I appreciate that. So welcome. If you guys don't know, my name is Kat. I am the Nurse Flipper. And tonight I have Troy, Mountain Man. What? Oh, man, I'm getting rusty. I went the wrong way with it. Gino, are you here? Gino is here. I am so glad to see you back, my friend. I'm so glad you're feeling better. We have absolutely missed you the last 2 months, and we love you. And everybody has been sending you thoughts. So I am super excited to see you in the chat. So thank you for being back. Look, everybody is so happy. So below me is Jason from Mother Tucker's Antiques. Catty corner is Amie from Enamor Amie. And I'm going to let all three of them introduce themselves and tell you where you can find them and what they have going on. And then we will get to your questions. As always, get them in early. We have 15 starred items already. We'll hit those super chats first after introductions. And yeah, so here is Jason.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Jason from Mother Tucker's Antiques. A little bit about me. My name is Mother Tucker's Antiques because I own an antique store. I'm located in central Pennsylvania. We're near an area called Adamstown, which self-titled Antiques Capital USA. So come visit my brick and mortar. I have 40 active dealers. I also have a YouTube channel. I sell on YouTube and host sales. I participate in sales on other folks' channels. Pretty active on Instagram and used to sell over there. We also sell on Vamp over on the district. Tina has Whatnot Sales. She handles our eBay, and we sell another co-op here in Pennsylvania. So we keep ourselves really busy. Oh, and I sort of specialize in antiques and vintage. So hopefully that helps you guys with any questions tonight. That's pretty much it for me. Thank you, guys.
Perfect. Here's Amie.
Hello, I am Amie Hackworth of Enamor Amie. I have been mainly vintage and antique reseller for about 13 years, full-time here on YouTube since 2022. So I also host YouTube live sales here, and I am a seller over on Virtual Antique Marketplace on District as well. I do in-person antique shows one year, and new this year is an antique booth here at a local antique mall. So that's, I'm pretty active over on Instagram as well.
Perfect. And here is Troy.
Oh, I didn't have a script or anything. Yeah, my name is Troy, Mountain Man Treasure. We have a YouTube channel. It's sort of taken a little bit of a back seat for the last little bit because we've been so busy. I've been ramping up eBay. I'm a one-man show, so I can only do so much, right? And so I've been ramping up eBay, and it's been doing really well. We also are now in year 2 of having a booth in a vintage store here in town, and that's doing extremely well. We're actually having our best month ever right now, and so I'm very excited about how that's going. And yeah, we're, like I said, we're on YouTube. It's gonna start picking up a little bit. I did just purchase somebody's small eBay store. And so over the last 2 weeks, I've actually been going through all of that. And so that's taken the time away from me being able to do videos. But it'll be back. We run that. And then I have a secondary sort of play hobby channel, Big Sky Paranormal, where we go and do like overnight ghost investigations and stuff. So that's what I'm doing.
Perfect. All kinds of things, like all of us. I think all of us I think that's in common with a lot of your YouTube content creators. We're like all over the place and doing so much. So let's do these super chats first. Hollyhock sent $1.99. 3 o'clock this afternoon, really early. So I appreciate that. I didn't get my new one made. Drew did do his job and remind me. I just chose to go swimming in the ocean all day instead. So I am going to do my whale, and I will attempt again to have the new one. I don't know if Gino's still in here. Gino, I have the hiccups. If you're in here, I have a super chat mission for you. All right, here's the whale. Thank you so much, Hollyhock. Speaking of Drew, there is my good friend Drew. He said, have an awesome show, guys, and go cat. And I was supposed to make him a new super chat with me swimming in the springs, but I did not get to it. So I'm going to play the old one again of me swimming in the springs and try again to have a new one. But here's the old one. There have been the little gators have been hanging out around the springs. I need to get video footage, so that's what actually stopped me, because I don't have new video gator footage. I have the new me swimming footage, but I need to find a gator. So eBay guy sent an $11.09 super chat and says, starting the super chat train. In honor of the Devil Rays did go down to the White Sox 11-9. If you guys don't know, Dalton's birthday was last Wednesday, and I got seats right behind home plate. So we were on MLB all night because we were sitting 2 rows back from home plate. So me, my sister, my niece, and Dalton were all on camera all night. And it's funny, my sister's boyfriend's family was like, where'd you guys go? When we got up to go get food, they're like, where'd you go? We don't see you anymore. And he's asking what Dalton thought of it. So if you follow, I don't think I posted to Instagram. I posted to Facebook. I made them a poster because my niece's birthday was 6 days before Dalton's that said, it's our birthday, we need a ball. And they both got balls. So my sign did work. The instant replay guy actually sits right behind home plate, and he's who got the balls for us, which was really cool. And then they got the mascot to sign the ball, the main Rays mascot. So to kids, the mascot signing it is better than the player signing it. So they were really, really happy about that. So I was impressed. They actually paid more attention. Not that I can afford to sit behind home plate all the time, but they paid more attention because we were closer. Because normally we sit on the third baseline, so we're like further away. But this time there's like balls coming at our face, in the net from the foul ball. I'm sure that was on TV at some point too, where I'm like, So he enjoyed it very, very much. I should get us a baseball. I need to stop. I have like 20 super chats. I need to stop. I'm like, oh, a baseball super chat. Okay. So here is my octopus. All right. Dun, 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 dun. I think we have one more, and I think it is Miss Marcia. So she forgot. I'm going to tell on her, even though she said, don't leave and not help me. She forgot it was Tuesday last week is what happened. So she was fine. And people were worried about her because she wasn't here. But for years, Marcia has moderated for me both here and on my Whatnot sales for me. So I'm not complaining at all. But everybody missed you. So if you're not following her, guys, go follow her because she's getting close to 1,000 subscribers, which is what we need here on YouTube to get monetized. So go give her a follow if you are not, please. And what am I going to do? Marcia, what super chat? I'm going to do the pillow fight. I haven't done that one in a while. Here you go. So Brooke is out of town this week. She's with her dad in the mountains on vacation, so it's just me and Dalton. And yeah, we're surviving. I drug him with me to the gym yesterday. I drug him with me to the gym and swimming yesterday, and today we went out on the boat. So speaking of the boat, Elena, Treasure Diva Thrifts, who is my thrifting buddy, was out on the boat with me today. So her and her daughter and her grandson were out. We went scalloping. We got like 2 gallons. We really didn't do bad. Everybody found some. And it was nice and clear and calm. And then we went to the springs afterwards and dove in and rinsed off, and it was fun. And Elena and Shannon, my employee, also went with us on the boat today. We just all, that's the benefit of doing what we do. They took the scallops because I still have scallops left from my last one where I got 5 gallons. So I gave them the scallops. So I'm good with still having them. All right. Elena likes kitty cats, so I know which one to give her. Here. All right. That was all of the super chats. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate the super chats. Iggy sent this 12 hours ago to get this question answered, 12 hours early, and wants to know, how do you price items that you cannot find on Google Lens or eBay?
Gosh, that was one that I did read a little bit earlier. Usually what I do is, a lot of the things that I sell are vintage and antiques. So if Google Lens or eBay doesn't help, a lot of times, you just try to try to research it, or you remember it. When you've been a reseller for 20 or 25 years, or you try to seek out folks that might know the things that you're trying to sell. That's kind of old school. Like, I was even seeing some questions about AI and stuff like that. My world is definitely old school. So if I find something that I don't know anything about, I reach out to other colleagues of mine in the business, whether it be at the brick and mortar, maybe I have a dealer that knows something about it, or I know another shop owner, or in the virtual world, some of my friends, in that realm, I will reach out to them. But pretty much you can also try to go back and get some old school reference books and try to look those things up too. And even when you use Google Lens, it all depends what you do with it. Sometimes Google Lens doesn't always give you the right information, and sometimes eBay doesn't give you the right information. So even if I do find it right away in those two areas, yes, Worth Point is another good one too. They mentioned that, so you can go that route too. But usually, if I don't know anything about it, I try to seek out friends in the business or people that I know to ask them. Hopefully, that answered that question.
I think Jason hit the nail on the head. Networking is really important. You can't know everything about everything, so it's helpful to have people that know, good things about other things that you might not necessarily specialize in. And Worth Point, I pay for a Worth Point account. I use it multiple times per week, especially if I'm out picking or on a road trip. I use it. It's cheaper if you pay for a yearly account, and it's really good for those, like, I don't know, hard to find, more rare things, maybe something that doesn't come up all that often. I think it's worth paying for the account. I know it's cheaper if you pay for a yearly account, but you can pay for it monthly also, and you can get like a free trial. But where they get you with that is that it's not 5 days worth of free trial, it's per lookup. So just
it's like, 5 or 7
want to do that,
lookups.
That's how they get you. So maybe if you're looking for a certain thing and then all of a sudden your free trial's up and you got to pay for it. But I think it's worth it for sure.
Yeah, and it is an expense, right? But
yeah,
you're running a business, right? And so it's a deductible expense at the end of the year. And if you find, it depends. If you're doing retail arbitrage and that's your thing, Worth Point's not going to be any good for you, right? If you're getting pretty common stuff, it's not going to be great for you. But if you find one weird thing every year that, maybe I was going to put that online. I found something earlier this year that I thought I'm going to bring it into my store and put $25 on it. It's a cool little gnome and a mushroom. It looks like, but it had a maker mark on the bottom. So I looked it up. It would have been a $25 thing. It didn't look particularly exciting, but it had a mark on the bottom. So I looked it up on WorthPoint. I think I sold it for like $250 or something because it was on WorthPoint, and there was only, I don't know, like 6 or 8 of them that have sold over, what does WorthPoint do, like 10 years?
2011, I think, is as far back you can go.
So that paid, that's my subscription, is I made money on one sale because I used it. So WorthPoint is a great tool. Also on eBay, when you say it's not on eBay, I know sometimes newer sellers don't necessarily realize the stuff that you look on eBay, it's showing you the last 90 days, right? There is a research thing, and you can get that on the app now as well. You click on research, and that goes back, I think it's 3 years now. So you can do a little bit of, worth pointing on eBay now. It'll go back several years. So look there. Don't necessarily, as these guys said, don't necessarily trust the Google lens. Right. It'll bring up something quickly, and it's a good starting point, right? Or at least it'll tell you, here's the words to look for. But just because the first thing that pops up says it's $22, it might not be worth that. And you don't know the sell-through. You don't know. So be careful with that in terms of deciding, I'm going to buy this because Google Lens says it's $50.
Right.
Be careful. But that's a great way to get at least, this is this maker, this style. Now I know what to look for.
Right.
So, and then, like you guys said, ask people,
Yep.
I mean, especially being at the store now, I got a guy that I brought in a lantern the other day. I'm like, hey, I know this is a mining lantern, but I've never seen one this style. He goes, well, let me show you. And he brought one over that's like mine, only a little bit nicer. And he said, okay, here's what you want. Here's what yours is missing. And he knew, I knew exactly what it was because I had a lantern guy. So find out what other people like. They know their stuff. And so ask them, and they'll be willing to help you because they're excited to talk about the things that they like.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So for me, I'm not great at networking. I just want to price and go. So for me, what I do is I will look for something similar. So I'll put in, like, I'll try and describe it. If it's, a certain kind of brooch, like if it's an atomic, star brooch or whatever it is. And I'll look and try and find ones that are similar. And I typically will price higher, than what I find a little bit. And as long as I'm happy with what I get, I'm okay with that. And I talk about that a lot. I don't have to be the end person. Like if I price it at something and Jason knows more than me, he grabs it up for a good price and he makes $100, good on him. He's making that money because he knows more than me. So he's getting paid for his knowledge. So I'm okay doing that. I had a brooch, a couple weeks ago. I wasn't 100% sure on the maker. I auctioned it. And I ended up getting a little over $100 for it. So I think if you do enough of something, like I do a lot of jewelry, so I know like a nice brooch that's well made, even if it's not named. And I only paid $5. So I started at $100 though, because I felt like it was worth $100, and I got 3 different bidders. And now could it have went to $500-600 if it was something special? Yeah, it could have, but I was happy with $100. And like Linda's saying, if all else fails, price high, put on best offer. You can always go down, but it's hard to go up. And when you price lower and it sells in 3 seconds, you're like, what did I just do? I've been in that situation multiple times. But again, if what I priced it at is still a profit for me, I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna get mad, get upset. Somebody knew more than I did, and their knowledge just paid off for them, and I still am making a profit. So I'm okay with that. I wanted to, there were 2, where'd they go? There were 2 things that I wanted to put up here. Oh, no, maybe 3. Patty said Marcia loves when Kat drinks on lives. I'm only drinking plain Coke because I'm super tired and I wanted the caffeine. So I am not drinking alcohol. I just wanted to say that. Wendy said it must be weird not having Brooke here. It really is. Tonight is the first time ever I have done my own makeup to the extent that Brooke does it. Normally I just put like powder, lipstick, and mascara. That was the extent of my knowledge. But Brooke taught me yesterday before she went out of town to Georgia yesterday. So I think I did okay. This is my naturally curly hair. Somebody said something about that. So this is like me just putting like curl stuff in it. It's super easy. But I will tell you guys too, and I'm not sure what is about to transpire. It's going to be interesting. Brooke just got a job. She got a very good job doing social media marketing for a nonprofit in Gainesville. So she will still be doing social media marketing, but she does a lot more for me right now. So I'm going to have to decide if one of my other employees is going to pick up what she's been doing, or if I'm going to hire somebody else to do that. So kind of in limbo. Luckily, Dalton starts school back when she starts her job. So I will at least have that little bit of reprieve during the day, because she's really the only one that helps me with Dalton. The only thing is, a couple times a month I go down south to pick up auction lots, and either Brooke would watch Dalton or Brooke would go pick them up. So that might be one of my things I got to figure out. So yeah, there's going to be some changes in finagling coming up, but I'm really happy because she's making a really good salary, and she was able to use the experience she took from doing my social media marketing to get a good job, like a very, very nice paying job. So I'm super excited for her. And the company occasionally even does international travel. So she's really excited about that because she hasn't been out of the country. So I'm excited for her, and glad that she got experience with me to be able to do that. And it's kind of cool because she didn't go to school. I put her through some social media marketing courses, and she just had the experience doing it for me, and she got it. So, all right, Just Me says, what are you no longer selling that might have been a big seller for you in the past?
I thought about this a little bit, and it breaks my heart to say it. Mid-century. When I first were into mid-century, I'm into kitsch, mid-century, vintage holiday. Mid-century is soft. When I first bought my store in 2008, it was probably 5 or 10 years prior to that, I watched a PBS special. Yeah, I watched PBS. And there was actually an antique specialist, and it was probably footage from the 90s. And he had actually said that if you want to excel in the antique world, because where I come from, it's antiques. Even if it's not 100, it's still antiques. If it's, even if it's in the 80s, it's still like antiques. And he had said, if you want to make it in the future, which is what he would have been talking about the mid, 2000s, he had said, you need to learn your mid-century. And he was right. And he also said in that chunky glass was going to become popular, which when he talked about chunky glass, he meant like Moon and Star, Viking, and all of the swung vases, because old glass was elegant, was thin, like depression and etched glass. It was thinner. Then that mid-century got very chunky. But to say all that and then to end, yes, I used to be able to bring mid-century into my shop, whether it was barware, small pieces of furniture, and they moved very quickly. Even some of the mid-century kitchenwares, Pyrex, Fire King, anything like that, artwork, lava lamps, anything that fit that niche, it used to move out of the store really, really quickly. And now it moves, but not right away. I'm seeing a weird turn at the brick and mortar. Things are coming back that were popular 20 years ago. Like folks are getting into Victorian. They're getting into one other thing. One little caveat is that, so for example, back when I started doing live sales, it was fairy lamps, hotcakes, fairy lamps. Fairy lamps is sudden death at this point. It's done and over with. Now, the oddest thing that is up and coming, I'll tell any of you resellers, whether you do eBay or you have a brick and mortar, wherever you sell, it is hen on the nest. Hen on the nest, whether they be Indiana, Fenton, Westmoreland. The more exotic they are, the hen on the nest, they're going to be the new fairy light for the next year or so. But hopefully that answered the question. Yeah, it breaks my heart. Mid-century. Mid-century slow for me.
I already looked at that question too, and I had a very similar answer. That glass, fairy lamps was my number one thing. Just I don't know, 3 years ago, we could easily flip a fairy lamp for a couple $100, and they don't sell anymore. Same with swung vases. And trying to even find them nowadays are not several $100. So, and it doesn't seem that the market is there, even in person. I see booths full of it, and they just are not moving. like they used to. Glass in general, I think, is definitely down as where it used to be maybe even a year or two ago. People were still buying it, and Pyrex as well. I've noticed like that is not moving. I have not picked up a piece of Pyrex in probably 3 years because the price points, number one, are not good for resale. And it doesn't seem like the market is there for it anymore either.
Yeah, I don't know if there are things necessarily that I'm not selling anymore, but I think I'm more careful about the stuff out of those categories because I'm kind of an everything seller anyway. And there are things that I've had to get more picky about, at least, for online stuff. I'm a sucker for VHS tapes. It's just nostalgic for me. I really enjoy, there's a lot of memories attached to them for me. And there was I don't know, about a 4-year period, not that long ago, just finished within the last year to 2 years, where they skyrocketed. And I could sell, especially if they were new and sealed, I was selling VHS tapes. I'd pick up for 50 cents at a yard sale. I'd sell them within a couple of days, sometimes for $50, $100. I mean, they were going bonkers. Now some of those same tapes might sell for $10 free shipping, even some of them. So you got to be, you got to keep an eye on trends. Like I'm still picking that stuff up. Video games, the same thing. Video games came way down. You used to be able to sell a Wii console smack in the middle of a lockdown. We were selling those things for like $75. Now you can't sell them for 40. Now it's really hard to sell them even. So some of that where, you got to get it much cheaper. I'll still sell it, but you got to make sure you get it for the right price. Maybe the one thing just that I'm not picking up much would be electronics, just in general. Online, you get scammed a lot, and there's a lot of people that freak out that eBay is full of scammers. It's not. Like when you look at the majority and the percentages, it's just not. But that category, it does tend to have more. And I've got bit a couple times. A Bose remote came back that was not the one I sent out. The eBay rep agreed and said, yep, the marks don't match, the serial numbers don't match, but the return team said, sorry, you have to take it back because everything is siloed, right? So the individual rep basically agreed with me and said, I wish we could do something about this, about people that are taking advantage. You're right. I'm sorry. Like I had the photos, everything. But she's, like I said, everything's siloed. So she has to forward it on to the team. And the team said, nah. And so, then I'm out that. So electronics is just easier for people to take the part they're missing or to send you their broken one or whatever. So I just don't do that as much just for the hassle. But otherwise, I'm just a little more picky.
Yeah. So for me, I think glass overall, I've kind of stopped just because I realize like the packing and shipping of it really, like for us under like $100, I don't feel like it's necessarily worth it. And electronics I stopped, and it sells good, but like Troy made a good point about return, but I hate testing it. So a lot of times I would buy that stuff and it would just sit here and sit here and sit here because I didn't want to test it. I did sell some untested, but I think the big thing for me now. So here's a funny thing. I got to put this up here. Try buying an Aussie tee right now. I'll get it. I'm not going to get up and show you my butt. I'll get it and show you it though. I have an Aussie Statue that I've had 3 years. And all of a sudden, and it's crazy because when I originally got it, I think I was the only one with it. So I had it at like $1,200, and now they're selling for about $600 to $700. So I actually lowered my price because I'm like, let me get this thing out of here. I've had it 3 years while it's hot. It hasn't sold yet. So I lower it from $1,200 to $700, and then somebody offers me $300. I'm like, no, I just thought I'd lower this from $1,200. But I think a lot of the more trendy stuff, like Troy just put the vintage teaser down, a lot of that stuff like that everybody's mentioned, but if you still find the rare ones, they're going to sell high. Like I was laughing because almost everything that they said is stuff I've done research videos on. Like I just did Pyrex on stuff that's selling for $700 to $5,000 for a single Pyrex. Sonny, I need you to message me. It's important. I love you. Congratulations on the baby. But yeah, I like, it's hard because you're going to see stuff go up and down and up and down. And the problem, like that Aussie statue, I never recomped it. I have over 8,000 items. I don't recomp stuff. And so it's hard. So now, and I probably could sit on it and have left it at the 1,200, but I didn't send you one. You send me first and then I'll respond. I'm a chicken. So like, yeah, I'm big on doing what I like, even though a lot of it's longer tail stuff, and I'm lucky enough that I have the space to be able to do that. So if I buy it cheap, I'll still buy it. Patty's saying butter pats are high. I've always done pretty well with butter pats. I don't find a ton of them, but I do well with the ones that I do find. I've always done well with them. All right. Hollyhock. What suggestions so this is another one with pricing. For further research and pricing for Lavelle Diamond Ivor Johnson bicycle frame only with a brass head badge. And I happen to know Amie researched this for you. Okay. And Hollyhock says the badge indicates it's late 1800s to 1920s.
I did read this as well. I just wanted to answer this question by saying I'm really old school in the aspect that when it comes to something this extreme that I don't know, I then Google locals in my area. So if you know somebody that has a bike shop, maybe you start with them. You go in, you talk to them. It's kind of like I even said to Tina as I was coming on, the old storage wars. Remember then they got something in a storage unit, and then how did they figure out what this thing was? They actually went to like a certain store that carried it. So that's what I would do with this. Also, I would reach out to people locally to find out more information, maybe at auction houses. See if they've had any, sell-through rates. And you don't want to just find your average auction house. You want to find your more elevated, more expensive auction houses in your area. Usually they know people that they get appraisals from. And a lot of times, if you're nice enough and you call them on the phone or you actually go there, they're actually usually pretty helpful. So that was my quick answer, is actually go to and try to Google, research local bike people, and then also ask your local auction houses. So that would be my way of learning or figuring it out.
I was also going to suggest if you have a local antique store, usually people that work the front desk or work in the mall, if they're not a vendor themselves, are very knowledgeable. If you bring something in and say, like, do you know anything about this? Can you help me? Or maybe, do you know somebody that can help me? But since I do have a WorthPoint account, I did type that in there, and there's really not a whole lot of results. I will tell you that. And I always filter it to most recent. And these should have been eBay sold. One is from an auction house, and it's just pieces and parts. All right, so just basic parts there. This is from 2022, 6150. But then they go all over the board. We got a whole bike here, and it does say pre-1920 on it. All right, it doesn't mention anything about a brass badge, but that sold in 2022 for $1,200. All right, and then the one before that. Also, this one says a square sprocket does have the badge, over 9,000. All right. Wow. So it's kind of all over the board. That's from 2021. That's all the information I can tell you that's on WorthPoint, but I would really seek out somebody local to give you maybe an updated, like now current value, or maybe even somebody that might be interested.
Every once in a while, I'm having things drop out on me. I apologize.
The other thing I was going to say was Facebook. There's groups for pretty much everything on Facebook. Yeah. You might look for maybe antique bicycles, antique cars or vehicles, something like that, and see if somebody on Facebook, one of those groups, can help you out too.
Yeah, that's what, and that was my answer. That's where I go, because there's Facebook groups for pretty much everything. Yes. Like I found a really old pair of hair clippers years ago, like 3, 4, 5 years ago. It was Wall, a big name, and they looked really cool. It was a whole case. It was like, these look like they're something. did some research and found out, yeah, apparently they're pretty rare. And so what I did, I started an auction, which on eBay usually isn't the way to go for a lot of stuff nowadays. But I didn't know how to define, here's how much it's worth. But then I went onto Facebook. There are collector groups for hair clippers on Facebook, okay? Like a lot of barbers and stuff. But down to that small. And I said, hey, I just listed this thing if you guys are interested. And I got all kinds of bids on it. I've been picking up military helmets randomly lately. I've just, whatever reason, I've been finding them. I've joined a couple of military helmet Facebook groups. There's an action figure identification group on Facebook that's incredible. Like, you post a picture and say, anybody know what this is? And usually it's within about a minute. Somebody goes, oh yeah, it's this from this year and it's from this line, and you're crowdsourcing. And you're crowdsourcing with a group that's specific to, you look for old, antique bicycle collector groups. Some of them are buy-sell groups. Some are just informational. So you got to make sure you don't break the rules to make it look like you're trying to sell something, on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Facebook groups are absolutely the place I would go.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with everybody else, and I don't know anything about bicycles, but I think it kind of falls down for almost everything that we're researching. The Facebook groups are definitely a big, help. And the good thing is, if they're bigger groups with collectors, if one of them gives you a wrong answer, the other ones are going to tell you. But with the prices Amie was saying, I think it might be worth paying for an appraisal, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, if you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars, I would seriously consider doing an appraisal. All right. Gay Girl says, I'm new to eBay and would like to know your thoughts on promoted listing. Will 2% do anything for sales?
That's hard for me to answer because Tina actually handles all of our eBay. So I'm going to be the lame duck and not know a ton of eBay stuff. I do know that she does not do any form of promoting as far as I'm aware of. So, but again, it's not my wheelhouse with eBay, so I will have to pass any further answers.
And I do not sell on eBay, so I'm going to pass as well.
All right. Well, I guess here I am. Let me tell you what I do with promotion. And let me tell you what I think about promotion. People will say, does it work? Yeah, it's putting ads on TV, putting ads in the newspaper, on what advertisement works. And a promotion is an advertisement. If you put up a what's it that has a good sell-through rate and people, you see that thing sells fairly regularly, and you price your what's it in accordance with what the sales price says it's going to sell at, eventually it's going to sell. Historically, it shows your thing is going to sell. Now, if you post your what's it and you promote it, your what's it's going to sell faster. Many, many times, not 100%. Like, there's nothing hard and fast, but more often than not, it's going to sell faster. Now, there are some categories that are completely saturated, right? And so, in order to try to get to the top, I know Kat promotes a crazy. You talk about promotion percentage. Kat will tell you. I know she promotes at a way high level, but she's selling in saturated categories, and that's the way you climb to the top. And so your thing might sell in that category eventually, but there's 500 other things that were listed that look basically the same on that same day they got listed. So you're trying to get seen. So 2% is the bare minimum. I'm not going to say it won't do anything. It depends again on the category, on your competition, what you're selling. There's little stipulations everywhere, but in general, it will help. Now, 2% is the bottom. Somebody else is going to promote 3%. Somebody's going to promote 10. Kat's going to promote 45. Okay, and so
no, I'm not.
Kat is going to get seen first, right? Or more often, or whatever. The higher you promote, the better chance you have of somebody seeing that ad that's going to buy it. So it's just a matter of how quickly you want to sell it. Usually, I put my stuff up. I leave it up for, I don't know, a week, 3 to 3 weeks or something like that. And then I take a look. And if it's getting a lot of views and it's picking up watchers, then just organically then I'll go ahead and I'll promote it. And that's how I do. I go in every about 3 weeks and I just look at what I have listed that's not promoted, and I promote the stuff that's not getting a lot of attention. It's sort of a shotgun approach to it. but that's how I do it, and it works.
So I do promote high. I was at 15% because we were having the worst sales months we had a few months ago. So I bumped from 10, which I've been doing for years, up to 15. I just about 2 weeks ago dropped down from 15 to 14. If you do not know, do not go promote high and then turn it off. eBay will slap your hand and you will not get sales. So you need to like slowly inch it down. So I think I set myself a reminder in another month to drop it to 13. I'm going to try and get it back down to 10 and hopefully hold them. But like to give you guys an idea, like we're almost at $4,000 in sales for the week on eBay. So we sell a lot. I buy low. That's one of the big things for me. I typically buy at 10 to 15%. And so I am okay paying that extra 15% to do more volume, move more stuff. We make more money. And to answer your specific question, I do not feel that 2% is going to give you much of a like boost up on anybody. I feel like the majority of people are at a minimum of 5. And I think probably more common is going to be 10. I figure on my eBay fees about 25% on average because they're not all going to sell promoted. Okay. You can promote everything. That doesn't mean they're going to sell. I will tell you the last time I really looked at it, about 75% of mine do sell promoted. It definitely gets you more views. And the other thing is that, like Poshmark fees are 20%. If you go and advertise something, like you're gonna pay it. So if you're buying low, then I think it is worth it if you want to move more. If you're having to pay up and you don't have that much of a profit margin, then I don't think you should. So I'm slowly lowering it back down with getting back down to 10% being my goal. I think 2% is better than nothing, but I don't think you're going to see very many results from it, honestly.
And those fees at the end of the year, tax deductible. It's a business expense.
They are all tax
They are
write-offs.
write-offs.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Miss Linda said, what tips and tricks do you have for oh my gosh, why can I not say photographing I don't know why I couldn't say that word, highly reflective glossy items? I have ring lights and also have a small light box.
I kind of talked to Tina about this a little bit with her taking photos for eBay, or even for us with our live sales. You know, we put out reels and we take photographs of our items that we have coming up in sales. Basically, my answer for that is just going to be, when it comes to glare, you just have to try to move the item. You have to play with your lighting a little bit and see how it's going to photograph. If it's something like a mirror or something, it is going to have a high glare effect. So part of that's going to be expected in the photograph. Pretty much it just comes down to knowing your technology, whether you use a phone, whether you use a digital camera, try those settings. Maybe you can go in and you can edit it after the photograph is taken. Sometimes, you can do that, but basically it just comes down to your skill of what you're able to do with the equipment that you have. And sometimes you're just not going to get rid of that glare. And usually if you're selling that kind of thing, I think your buyer realizes in the photo or in the preview, like for the reels, when we video things, they might see a glare or a reflection in something. If it's like a mirror or if it's a frame with glass in it, it's just kind of expected. And that would probably be my best way of answering it. Just do the best you can do with the equipment that you have. Maybe you can edit it later in some other kind of software. And also just always keep moving your lighting and keep moving it. And yes, it is moon sky. It's all about the angle. And you learn that the more you do that. If you're not selling a lot of things that are glass, keep selling it. You're definitely going to learn how to move it and how to get that photograph perfect.
Just bouncing off what Jason said. It is kind of all about the angle of your lighting. I use a lot of natural light when I'm taking photographs of something, if I'm posting a static listing or something like that on Virtual Antique Marketplace, which is most often where I post statically. But a lot of times if you can't get rid of a glare, depending on what kind of an item it is, you're going to have to go in some sort of app and edit it. You can take out a glare. Canva has some great tools for doing that. I know Photo Room is good for doing that as well. If you don't have, Photoshop, if you really don't have all the bells and whistles. But Canva, I use Canva all the time to edit or bump up something or take out something. Maybe I'm wearing a bright colored tank top when I'm taking the photo, and you can easily take that stuff out. So I would look at maybe a post photo app to help you with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just picking little pieces of what you guys have said. Of a lot of times if you shoot more down, you're if you shoot straight on, you're going to be getting the reflection, right? So shoot sort of higher up, at least for like your main photo, right? And then people will understand if they're seeing stuff in photo 3, 4, and 5. But if you want the best picture, maybe shoot a little higher. Also, shoot at an angle. I like sort of angled shots anyway, not head on. Like when I post baseball hats, I like selling hats. I don't post straight on for the first picture. I kind of go this way, and I shoot it kind of at an angle. So it's like a 25% angle on the side. I think it works better for a lot of stuff, and you're going to get rid of some of that reflection. Be sure to wear like pants, because it might be a reflection in there. You don't know what you're putting on eBay. I've seen that stuff,
The
right?
mirror picture.
You see that reflection in there. Just
Yeah.
be careful.
Yeah.
If you use a ring light and stuff, I think you are more prone to see the reflection. So yeah, natural light. I've moved on from using ring lights and boxes and stuff anyway. I didn't like being nailed down to one spot to do photos. So my living room has several windows that get pretty good natural light. I just use that, and then I use Photo Room to take out the background, and then I'm good. I can take pictures wherever. I'm not locked into one spot, but the natural light will help too, because there's not one direct beam of light headed right at it. So that just stuff like that.
I have to put it up. It's no pants.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm
problem.
wearing pants.
Problem.
Pink pants that don't match my blue shirt, but we're not going to talk about that. I have a photography video. It's years old, mind you. Some of you might know, some of you don't. Before I went to nursing school, I was a professional photographer for 8 years. So I'm kind of nitpicky on my photos. And honestly, the angle thing, like you can tilt your phone. You can bring it to the side. Like, it's amazing what just like a little, like, step to the side so you're not in it. Hold your phone to the side, tilt. But I think people expect a little bit of glare. Like, I'm not OCD about getting rid of every glare. It's a piece of glass. But moving to the side, getting higher, getting lower, just move the phone around and see. Honestly, you can get rid of the majority of them by doing that. You'll still have, like I said, you're going to have a little spot. That's just natural. Unless it was like worth hundreds of dollars, I'm not going to go through the time to do that in Photo Room, because it's just not worth, the effort of doing it. And that stuff still sells. I wanted to put this up here because Hollyhock forgot to put her comment with her super chat. She said she deeply appreciates me, Rod, and the guests for sharing and researching for our benefit. We're super happy to help. Those of you that might be newer, I have had this podcast for over 5 years. We just had our 5-year anniversary. I've only missed 3 Tuesdays ever in 5 years. Whether the holiday or I've done it live from the Florida Keys. I've been live from Cincinnati, Ohio. I have been live from all over the country, as long as I can get to it. I think one time Rod and I were speaking in Phoenix, so I couldn't speak live and be on my podcast at the same time. I'm not that talented. And one time I was super duper sick, and the third time I was in the hospital having my gallbladder out. So as long as I can possibly be here, I will be here. All right. Wendy said, Kat, on your Pyrex video, why did they start the bidding at 99 cents? We're supposed to start an auction at the minimum we would like to receive, correct? Okay. So, and then I see your continued. So I'm going to respond to this first. So if a seller knows that they have a hot piece, then they're fine starting at 99 cents because they know that is a super rare piece. It's hot. So here's the thing with auctions and with starting them at 99 cents. If it's not popular, you make sure you know that it is popular, not you think. Second, when people bid on auctions, what happens is that item to them is theirs. Like if I bid on it at 99 cents, at 99 cents is mine. So they get an attachment to that item at 99 cents, and they're going to continue bidding and bidding and bidding and bidding. And a lot of times what happens is those 99 cents auctions will go higher than, say, they started it at $300, because they've got all these bidders that are now invested mentally in that item. They feel like that is theirs. So starting it at 99 cents, you can get more bids. eBay is going to push that auction out more because you're getting bids, you're getting clicks, you're going to get more views. But you need to know, not think. You need to know that is a rare item, or you're going to get 99 cents for it. So, and then continued part says, sometimes doing my research, I ask why they think their item is worth $30 to $50 more than the highest price. I don't get it. I will tell you, in doing store reviews and just over the years, especially new sellers, and I will caution all of you against this. Just let's say you made a mistake and you paid too much for that item. That does not mean it's worth more than fair market value. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, I paid $20 for this, so I'm going to charge $50 more than everybody. You're not going to sell it. You can price it at whatever the heck you want. You're not going to sell it. And I've seen people have stuff high, and I'm like, where did that come from? You know, where did you get the price? Oh, well, I paid this. It doesn't, you can pay $200. If it's only worth $100, that's all you're going to get. You're going to lose money. So when you're pricing, unless it's the only one and really rare, you cannot take into account how much you paid for it. It doesn't matter. All that matters is fair market value. So that's why you make your money on the buy. You got to be very careful, not overpay, because the buyer doesn't care that you paid $20 too much for it. They're not going to give you an extra $20 for that if there's one $20 cheaper. So be very, very careful about that. But if you know it's rare, the 99 cents will get the attention. It will get the bids. But if it's not, you're going to get 99 cents. So be careful. All right. Teacher Treasure Chest says, how has AI helped you in your business, and what AI tools do you find the most useful?
We do not use any AI tools. Even when Tina does eBay, she takes natural photographs and edits them herself. So I can't really answer any of the AI tools. I don't use any of them.
I would say technically Google Lens is AI, is it not?
Yeah.
I think it is. I mean, I don't use it too often. If I'm out and I see something and I really don't know what it is, for research purposes only, I don't like that it pulls up eBay listings and shows current listings. That is the part, and that's what a lot of people use to price their items currently, and that drives me bananas. Like, go and look at your solds. I don't like it for that person, but just for identifying things I do. And I've also used it to create my super chat videos in Canva. If I tell exactly what I want, it makes a cute little video that I can play for my super chats or my channel members. I have used it but that's all I've used it for.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good for item identification, or like inside of items. We've talked about Pyrex. I'm not really a Pyrex guy. I can see value, and I know some of the ones that are valuable, but I don't know all the patterns, right? And so I can snap a quick picture, and it'll tell me what that pattern is. And so then I know again, you don't necessarily trust that first price that pops up.
Right.
But now I know, I'm looking for this color in this pattern. That helps you with your research. And that's what I use. I guess Photo Room is a type of AI, in the sense of, I can take a picture of a vase.
The AI background.
Yeah. And I've used the AI backgrounds a couple of times. For some things it works. I don't love it in general. Generally, I like the white background. I don't know if that's considered AI, of knowing where everything is, and because it takes some sort of it. I don't know. I use Photo Room to give me a clean white background, and I sometimes use Google Lens to identify patterns or specific items that I'm unfamiliar with. But past that, especially, I know a lot of people are talking eBay. If I see a listing that's clearly a description written by the AI chatbot, I usually back out of that listing and I look for another one that's in a comparable range. I'll pay a few cents more, a few dollars more, sometimes. I've done it because to me, it speaks to somebody that doesn't really have any idea what they're selling. Now, I don't put anything in the description. I copy paste the title, and then I point out flaws or something that's really, really nice. But, when it's a whole flowery thing and I don't know, it turns me off to it. And so I go to somebody else. So I would caution using AI descriptions. They're not entirely accurate all the time. They will put in errors. And people say, well, I edit those. Well, then why didn't you just write it? Because you took the time to edit it. You might
because I like the AI, Troy. That's why.
No, it's terrible. It's awful.
No.
And I will stand on my lawn and yell at
List
the AI.
Perfectly's AI is not. 110%. You can go look at my listing. They developed it for over a year, and I love them. I use them. I'm not like preaching something I don't use. I've used them for 4 years. They tailored it to how a reseller would write it. It is not the flowery, flowy BS. It is bullet points, facts about the item pulled from the photos. And I use List Perfectly AI to create every single listing that is on my store. And it pulls from the photos, it puts the color, it puts the size. If I show the measurements, it will translate those into writing. It fills out item description, it fills out item specifics, and we can do listings so much faster. So as far as AI for me, that's the main. I occasionally, with my really high priced jewelry, and when I say that, I mean like $500 plus, I will use the AI backgrounds to put it on like satin or something. Right. Plain yet fancy, not, too much, not too busy. I agree with Troy. I don't like the busyness. I sometimes will use, with my expensive Native Americans, I'll use like sunset backgrounds. I like the desert type background for those. But also for YouTube, I use it to help me with my titles. I use it to help me with my thumbnails, my descriptions, my keywords. So I use AI quite a bit. I've been pro AI when everybody hated it. Most people are starting to come around to it. I've been pro AI when the whole chat's yelling at me. So that's no secret for me. So we're definitely using it more. I wanted to throw it up. My good friend Jocelyn, Crazy Lamp Lady, is in the chat and asked if I'm going to Mount Dora in November. I am. I will go for sure. I'll have to get an Airbnb. So if you have room in an Airbnb, let me know. Dalton, I'll probably pull Dalton out of school early on Friday. But yeah, I will be there for sure. I think I have to look. My birthday is on Thanksgiving this year. And we're considering going to Hawaii, for my birthday, or Australia. We're not sure yet. But I think Mount Dora is before that. So I don't think that should be a problem. And thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. All right. Dun, da, da, da. Oh, where'd he go? I saw it. Where did it go? Scott, where'd you go? Where'd it go? It disappeared. How did that even happen?
No, I think it's up there still.
Oh, thank you, Marcia. I love you. Marcia's backstage helping. Scott was willing to fill in tonight too. I really appreciate him. He's always happy to help me last minute. If you guys don't know, definitely go follow Scott Cha-Ching King. And his new channel is Cha-Ching King Flips. He's got 2 now. He's copying the rest of us. We're all just all over the place. So if you now have a dolphin by your name, you can tell Scott thank you. That was from him. And now this is one of my favorite. I need to have Gino make me a turtle that's not a member one, because I don't always get members and then I can't play my turtle one. But since Scott gifted him, here is my turtle. We saw a couple of turtles today while we were out on the boat. And I bought myself a new turtle shirt. Brooke has yelled. I had my turtle cup with me today too. Brooke has yelled at me that if I bring any more tumblers into the house, she will hurt me. I have a tumbler and a throw blanket problem. Those are my 2 main problems: tumblers and throw blankets. All right.
Marcia, did you highlight the reason Scott said that he donated all of those? It was right after it.
Because you're here. I read it, buddy. Oh, all right. Cindy said, now that Facebook Marketplace does not supply prepaid labels, how do you ship? So I think we can answer this whether we sell on Facebook Marketplace or not. So if you have a sale that's on a platform not providing you a label, how are you shipping?
Good old Pirate Ship. Pirate Ship gives you the best rates possible. Even if you're on a platform that, like Katja said, does offer shipping, you can always go through Pirate Ship. So it's really easy to use. It's very self-explanatory. Even if you're shipping things, maybe even during the holidays, you could use Pirate Ship to print your own labels. So that would be my answer, Pirate Ship.
Same. I only use Pirate Ship. It's great, even with international. And I would say, like, you can get an export rate for shipping international. It's amazing. It's even cheaper than first class savings. All you got to do is like message a little chat on Pirate Ship and say, can you turn on export rate? And then you'd be shocked. I can ship to Australia for $17.99.
Yeah.
It's great.
I mean, they'll chat back in like pirate lingo, which is obnoxious. But
Arr.
I mean,
Yes,
Arr.
you're right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they're committed.
Are you
So
a
give them,
robot
give
or a
them that.
pirate?
They're all in.
Yeah,
I
Pirate
like
Ship is
pirates, so I'm good with that.
on Marketplace. I just sold a desk on Marketplace the other day. Bought it for $5, sold it for $40, and it's gone. You know, and she's going to clean it up and either keep it or she could probably flip it for $150 once she does the project on it. But I tend to buy profit and not projects, and so I flipped it to somebody that will. But I just sell locally on Marketplace. But yeah, I have used Pirate Ship. My kid goes to school in New York. I send stuff to her all the time with Pirate Ship. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna quadruple that and say Pirate Ship is what we use also. I very rarely do anymore, but occasionally, like on my thrifting channel, which I've been neglecting, and yes, I know that, and yes, I'm trying, I promise. We'll get sales off of my thrifting videos. That's really the only time for me that we have to go and use Pirate Ship. Wendy shares my birthday. She said I should go to Hawaii for both of us. Oh, okay. Bill and Vicky said they'll do an Airbnb with me. We did it before. Me and Bill and Vicky have shared Airbnbs before, so that'll work. Yeah, let me know and we'll find something. Laura said that shipping was $6.80 for a 4-ounce item. The potential customer asked about it. I tried to change it but couldn't. Ended the listing, relisted. Shipping was still at $6.80. What is going on?
I'll have to pass that on again. I'm sorry. I handle the live sales and, booths and things. Tina handles the eBay and would be able to answer that. I can't. That's out of my wheelhouse.
I also don't sell on eBay, but I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the price increase that the Postal Service just issued. I think it was the 19th or around the 19th. They just increased rates again. So maybe it was something having to do with that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean the dimensions are enough that it's probably not going to screw up the pricing more than a few cents. They use cubic rates now, so that can actually change same weight, and you change 8x6 by 6 box to an 8x6 by 4. It might change it 15 cents, right? That happens now where it didn't before. But $6.80 for 4 ounce. If you're shipping it across the country, that's probably just what it is right now. I mean, that's what the customer is going to pay. You're going to pay $4.80 or something, because you save a little bit. You can choose to pass that on to your customer, the savings. I don't, because that covers other stuff, right? That covers your box and your bubble wrap, and you get charged. eBay will charge fees on tax collected and shipping. Well, you're getting a cut on that shipping. That's going to cover most of those fees, and so I don't pass that along. It might just be that's just what it costs now. It depends on if I'm shipping something to Maryland, that might be what it is. If I'm shipping something to Colorado, it's going to be cheaper. So depending on how many regions it crosses, that changes the price too.
Yeah, so I actually just checked this the other day as well, and that was the price, and it is because of the shipping increase. And I actually, on a lot, I'll put 8 ounces instead of 4, And on the item in question, I hadn't. I had it at 3 ounces and it was at that same rate. And the customer said, why? You can just put it in an envelope. So my response, I'm going to reverse to that AI question. Responding to customers, I use AI because I have a temper. I am hot-headed and I will tell them what I think. So I use AI for that. So yes, that is for me, or if you are not good at being tactful and professional, I am not. Use AI for that. So I just wrote them. I said, look, that's the cost of shipping. I don't charge any handling fees. I don't mark anything up. And I told them that eBay requires a tracking number for me to prove that I shipped it. I'm sorry, the postal rates went up. That's what it costs. Could I get an envelope and pay for tracking? Yes. Is it worth it for a $7 item? No. And that is what it was. And unfortunately, I mean, it might not ever sell. I try not to list those lower price items. That's one of the reasons. When shipping's more than the item, people are like, what? So you can get an envelope, and I think it's like 55 cents or something to add a tracking number onto like a regular envelope, but you can't do that on eBay. You have to do that at the post office, and I just am not willing to do that.
You can't use the eBay standard envelope for it?
No, it's only applicable in like certain categories. So that was like a handkerchief. Really, I feel like eBay should allow it on different items, because a handkerchief could go in a standard envelope like that, but they'll only let you buy those for particular things. So Mark is here exactly at 9:11 because that's what he does. My hair right there's drove me crazy. And yeah. So, Mark, thank you for joining us. Mark always gets Rod, even though Rod's not here. Rod's not feeling well, so I'm still gonna give Mark Rod. Here you go.
Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time.
Oh, I can do it. He's not here. I hope he's not watching. He yells at me when I do it. That's why we have my octopus. So that's where the octopus, because Rod kept getting mad because I was punching. But so Gino made me an octopus super chat for my octopus statue. That's where the octopus came. All right. Laura. Oh, is that the same one? That's the same one.
Be ready. Here. Shipping's going to go up again in the fall. It always does. It goes up before holidays.
Right before the holidays. We were talking about this backstage before we actually started. So I'm going to put it on here because this is I think it's crazy when you're going to hear everybody's answers. Teresa says, what is the temp where you're at? It's almost 100 degrees here, miserable hot. Which, Teresa, you didn't tell us where you're at.
Well, if we're answering where we were from in the heat, Pennsylvania, it was 97 today. I don't even know what the humidity was, but it definitely is under heat advisories. Pennsylvania is usually known for having small bouts of humidity. This summer has been really tropic. It's almost like Florida, where we get torrential downpours like in one town, and you'll get like 4 or 5 inches in one town, and literally 5 miles down the road, they still had sun. So there's definitely some kind of odd weather pattern going on. And a lifelong Pennsylvanian and a family from Pennsylvania, we're not enjoying it. We're done, Mother Nature. You can send it somewhere else now. So, but yeah, it was 97 with god-awful humidity and very, very warm here in central Pennsylvania.
It's been the same in Michigan too. Like it's I've been to Florida in July and it feels like that here. Super humid. It was heat index of 1 something here today, and the previous week seems like, yeah.
Montana doesn't have humidity, so I don't have to deal
Lucky
with
you.
We were like 85 degrees today, so it wasn't bad. A week before, we were in there was a couple weeks where we were in mid to upper 90s for quite a while, and then it wasn't but 2.5 weeks ago where we had some highways closed down in the mountains because we got too much snow. So that's Montana. We can flip 50 degrees day to day sometimes. So our weather's been really schizophrenic.
As you guys know, I'm in Florida. I am in North Florida. I'm close to the Georgia border, so I'm not like South Florida. I think it was 97, 98 today with a heat index of about 114. We were on the water though, so it really wasn't that bad. It was like the ride back in until we jumped in the spring water. It was hot. But yeah, so it sounds like it's like almost heat index of 100 almost everywhere. I can't, like, who is anybody in here in Phoenix or Vegas? I'd like to hear what it is there, because I bet it's worse. All right, this is a fun question. Silver Lining Life says, have you ever traveled for sourcing, and what works for you so it's a successful trip?
We have traveled, well, for the longest time with my business being self-employed. Mother Tucker's, when we first bought it, me and Tina were always working at Mother Tucker's. But coming out of COVID, we kind of changed our business model a little bit due to personal circumstances, which then allowed us to travel a little bit. I think one of our first sourcing trips, ironically, I think was Springfield. We went out to Springfield, to Ohio, to their extravaganza. So that was actually one of the first quote sourcing trips that we took. We did travel there. What worked for us? Well, we tried to hopefully source enough to cover the trip. Where I live in Pennsylvania, I'm fortunate that I have a lot of areas to source things. So honestly, to travel to Springfield was not really sourcing things to resell to cover my overhead did not happen. So really where I'm located here in Pennsylvania and in the northeast of the country, we're very fortunate that there's a lot of ways to source and find antiques and collectibles right here in my own backyard. So I don't always have to travel to source. I know, Kat, you came up here a couple times to source Pennsylvania. We're very fortunate. So we don't travel a lot to source because when we get there, the prices, usually the people we'd be buying from in Springfield probably came through Pennsylvania on the way there, purchased the items to then sell them in Ohio. But every now and again, we did find a few things that at least cover a portion of our trip. But where I'm located, I don't really have to travel to source my inventory, travel that far to source.
I do traveling all year long. Start in January, and I think I stop probably end of November, because I do shop with me videos at antique shows, malls, anywhere like that. We go to like 9 different states, I think. Most often I go to Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, and West Virginia for the first time this year. So I just kind of, if there's an event I'm going to, like an outdoor market or a show, something like that, that I have, like I'm planning to film a video there, or multiple malls in a day, I will just look at that area where we plan to go, or maybe we're going to a new place, go on Google Maps, like look up what's in the area and kind of map out the trip that way. Or if it's a reoccurring thing, that I go to Wisconsin 3 times a year because they have an antique market there that I really enjoy, and I film and promote for the show. So then usually when we go and stay in Wisconsin for 4 or 5 days, I look at new places to go, that we haven't been to or haven't filmed yet. Or I contact the store and say, hey, would you be okay if I came and filmed your store? And they're usually fine with that. So, and that makes it a successful trip for me, that I can buy stuff to resell, and have a nice tax write-off, for the business expense, in there too. So yeah.
I feel like I have to travel every weekend when I go to garage sales. Like, I mean, I'm in Montana, right? Like, I get a pretty decent mileage discount just from going to garage sales. I mean, I'm not in a metro where I'm just stopping every 30 seconds. There's another garage sale on the map. I'm driving. It's pretty regular to drive between 10 and 20 minutes between sales. And so I'm putting a lot of miles on every Friday, Saturday, just doing that. I mean, I do travel. I went and saw Kevin and Dave and them, Commonwealth Picker, and I travel. I flew out there one time, but then it's a matter of like, you got to get really small stuff because I'm flying back, right? And being in Montana, I can't just drive there. I mean, I could. I was looking at going to the 127 this year, But it was going to cost me ballpark. I did like fuzzy math. It was going to be a $2,000 trip if I drove and ate cheap and stayed cheap, and because just of the distance, right? And so I do travel in state to different places, you know, to bigger cities, or to, you know, there's a 50-mile sale up in the Bitterroot Valley that I go to every year. There's one in eastern Montana that I'm looking at going to here this next weekend. So I do go to those because those are a chance for me to hit multiple sales where I don't normally have that. I mean, sourcing, it's not Pennsylvania. Sourcing out here is tough. I mean, Kat's out in the sticks too, you know, and so I mean, she's in the sticks in a more populated state. I don't know if it makes much of a difference. That's why she does a lot of auction stuff online, you know. But yeah, I mean, I travel. I guess it's just different from other folks.
Yeah, so I have not as much since Dalton started school 3 years ago. We used to travel a ton before Dalton started school. That's like when I went up to Pennsylvania. We used to go visit Julian in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I also have went to Alabama. I had a viewer that had an estate they wanted me to look at. Turned out I kind of got bamboozled. The estate was crap, so I ended up thrifting. But I am like Amie too. I do sourcing videos. So for me, it's also a tax write-off. For me, I might go primarily for sourcing, but I'm going to go somewhere that I like other stuff. Like there's a beach there, or, you know, like, hey, like Sanibel, Fort Myers area here in Florida. We went down to Key West for Brooke's 21st birthday a couple of years ago, and I thrifted the Keys, and I got some amazing stuff. Like Troy was talking about, like the lower price stuff. I use WorthPoint. I got a little zebra ashtray. It was from this like old bar in New York. I got it for $1 at a garage sale in Key West, and it sold for $400. And luckily I found something told me like check WorthPoint for this thing. I don't know what, but it was great. So for me, successful might be a little different than for your typical person, but anybody who's watched me or known me very long, I can fill up a cart no matter where the hell I go. It's a blessing and a curse. So like the example, like when we went to Birmingham for the estate that turned out to not be great, we ended up thrifting, and you can ask people at the thrift stores in an area if there are other good ones, and they will tell you. People are more than happy to share. So we found a couple of Birmingham, and I loved thrifting Birmingham, Alabama. I would love to go back there and do it again. There are 2 like chain thrift stores there that have like 2 to 4 locations that have dollar tags. And if you know me, I love finding stuff for $1. So they have like certain color. I found out too that they both change them on Tuesdays. So Tuesday is the day to be there. I was there on a Friday and still found tons of stuff. So for me, if I'm making videos, I'm having fun, and I find some stuff that's successful for me. Cause I do make money on the videos too, you know, so I'm getting inventory, I'm making money on video, and I'm having fun. So I have I very rarely go on a vacation that is not a working vacation. If I go to Hawaii for my birthday, I guarantee you I'm going to be thrifting. Like no matter what, I'm going to be. So I just like, I feel like if you're a true reseller, you can't turn it off. Like I can't turn this off.
True.
True. It's like the whole, like see a yard sale sign and you're like, you know, but the thing is it's work, but it's not work, you know, because you enjoy it so much. It doesn't feel like work. So I would keep going. I will tell you a tip for me that I found is when I'm somewhere I don't know, I'll look for church thrift stores. I love church thrift stores. I find their prices are a lot more reasonable than like your chain thrift stores like Goodwill, Salvation Army. I'll just also like put in thrift store in the area. any of the nonprofit ones, like I found a lot of like pet humane society ones. Same thing as the churches, like their pricing tends to be better. I like the little hole in the wall ones versus going to a Goodwill. That's just my personal opinion. And a lot of the Goodwills now have like where it's half the new crap stuff from China that, I will tell you guys, I see everybody talking about mileage. I see Scott, Troy talked about it. Just make sure with your accountant that that's the best. Cause like we have a business truck. And so for me, I am better off writing off my truck payments, my oil changes, and my gas. I do not do mileage. I do gas and expenses on the truck. So I don't calculate my mileage anymore because we bought a truck specifically for the business. So for me, I quit tracking mileage. So just make sure. In some cases, it's not. If you have a separate vehicle for your business, you might be better off to do the expenses thing. Let's see. LaDonna wants to know, Jason, where's Tina?
Tina is upstairs. Maybe if Kat would have Mother Tucker's back, Tina could sit in and talk more about Whatnot and the eBay sales.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Maybe in the future. But yeah, LaDonna, Tina's upstairs. She was actually at auction all day. In the auction house that she was at had no air conditioning. So, and it was in Lancaster County here. So it was your very typical Lancaster County style auction. So she's very happy to be upstairs, to have taken a shower and get to relax this evening and watch us. So she might be lurking.
All right, let's see. Teresa said she meant to ask George last week how he knows so much. He's a walking encyclopedia. That is exactly what I call him. George has been doing this for, I believe, over 40 years. He's a certified appraiser, so he's been to school for it. That man, like, his memory is insane, and that is exactly what I call him. He is a walking encyclopedia. Like, antique malls pay him to come do appraisals like the Antique Roadshow. He's full of knowledge. And I think it's just years and years and years of experience. And he has a good memory, because I don't remember a lot. Like, I don't hold that stuff. He holds stuff. And George always gets mad at me because, like, I'll say that and he'll say, like, I'm good at the sales aspect, like the back end of it, but I'm not good at, like, knowing the style and knowing I don't care what's trending. I should care what's trending because I sell stuff, but I don't. Like, with clothes, with decor, like, my house doesn't. That's just not me. So yeah, but I am good at, like, keywords and, figuring out how to sell stuff. That I am. Who said they were doing videos in Canva?
It was me. I talked to her in the chat already and told her how to do it.
Perfect. Does anybody but me use the Smart Sizer app?
No, I don't know what that is. So yep.
So I will answer this. So I would say 80 to 85% of the time is accurate. You need to look, because sometimes, especially square things, I feel like it can't get the ratio. And yeah, you need to have an eyeball and a brain. I don't know any other way to say that. Like, look, and if it says it's 18 inches and it's obviously 6, it's wrong. But we use it for the majority of our clothing, and we find it, like I said, about 80 to 85% accurate. And people ask me about it all the time because they see it when I do my What Sold videos. It is only available on the iPhone. I am Android all the way, but I bought an iPhone for the business because a lot of the apps that I like to use and that we use for live selling only function well on the iPhone. And I will tell you guys, you can buy a locked iPhone, not iCloud locked, but carrier locked, and run it only on Wi-Fi. That is what we do, and they are a lot cheaper. You don't have to have it on a service plan. As long as you have Wi-Fi in your house, buy a locked one. It's cheaper, and you'll have an iPhone. And again, I'm not an iPhone fan. Like my girls use that, my employees use that. I call them my girls. They're my age, but they use that, and I try and get on there. I'm like, I want to strangle the phone, because I have always used Android. My daughter is iPhone all the way. She has her iPad, she has her Mac. I never went that way. I'm gonna assume this is aimed at me because I'm like obsessed with tumblers. There's nothing, I don't know why I'm obsessed with Tervis. Tervis actually aren't that great at keeping stuff cold compared to like the stainless steel tumblers. But I still am horrible. I just sold Tervis this week though. I sold a set of 5 Tervis Seahorse tumblers for $35. So some of them will sell, especially if you can find sets of them for cheap. Dun da da da. Marcia wants to know, Troy, did you get any of the bad storms last night?
No, eastern Montana got a lot of hail, like big hail, some of it, but no, we just had wind, basically, like pretty good wind pushing the garbage can, around down the driveway and messing up the trees and stuff, but not bad.
I have been in hail one time and it scared the hell out. I pulled over. I was like, let it ding the hell out of my car because I'm not driving in this. Like, it scared the living daylights out of me. I could not drive in it. It was insane.
There were storms here, eastern Montana, like a couple weeks ago, where they had it was drifts of hail, like it was like 6-7 inch tall, like hail drifts after the storm. It was crazy.
That sounds crazy.
It was nuts.
Troy, you're very popular. Teresa wants to know, did you go to the big yard sale in Montana? I keep wishing I could get there, but I have not been able to as of yet.
Yeah, that's the 50-mile sale in the Bitterroot Valley, and it just a northwestern Montana. Like it's just a beautiful area of the state. I go there every year, both because it's just really cool to drive around and see mountain ranges and stuff like that. Like literally behind the guy's house that you're buying stuff at. The video is incredible, and I've actually built up. There's a good relationship there. I mean, nobody's talked about it, but it comes up all the time. Of, do you tell people what you do? Yeah, like especially it's places like that where I found there's a house there that like 2-3 years in a row they kept having a sale, and it was all this stuff, and so I know it's not their stuff, right? And so they see me build up like $200-$300 piles. And they know that I'm a reseller. And so this next year, we've had a little bit of light conversation. This next year now, I'm going to broach hey, maybe you don't want to wait until this thing every year. I'll come up and pick up, because they clearly buy a lot of storage units. And so it's going to be, I think it's, I didn't show up there. It's usually my first stop. And this year it was like my third stop. And the lady, when I pulled up, goes, "Oh, we were worried you weren't coming this year." They know me. They know who I am. And so we're going to have a conversation next year. And I think we're going to build a relationship of, hey, let's not wait until the garage sale. I'm a buyer, and I'm going to probably be able to get some stuff that way. So that's, when you go to these sales, let people know what you do. Yeah. But that's going to be a great benefit of that sale, is making connections with people.
All right. Let me see what else I got. So Gila said she just bought a van. No, you aren't supposed to have a different license plate, and we actually had to put the truck in our personal names because a lot of times for a business to finance a vehicle, you have to have like a business plan and like tons of stupid paperwork. And I asked the accountant, I'm like, can I just put it in my personal name, but we use it as a business? And that's what we do. So like I have a business insurance policy on it, but it's like technically in my name, but there's no different tag. But that's in Florida. You're in California. Right. Ask. I would call and ask. So I want to say that too. Make sure you ask them first, because it might be different in California. I don't know. I will say I got the business insurance policy on mine, and it's lower cost. Like we don't drive the truck that much, so it might be beneficial if you just put it on your regular insurance to check a like commercial policy. That might be cheaper. Teresa wants to know, does anyone on here have senior centers that have stores? We have one and the prices are great. That's interesting. And the store helps fund the senior activities and meals. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we do here in Pennsylvania, because kind of where Kat is, I think we're like the second or highest state for retirement communities and senior citizens in the country. So yes, we do. Do I personally get to shop them? No, I don't. But yes, there are multiple retirement communities and over 55 communities that do have senior thrift stores. And I do know that you can find some things, but I will say I do have a dealer in my store who sources at them. But usually by the time the folks get to the senior centers, they've already downsized. So what they're donating into those facilities isn't always vintage or antique. So it's sort of like, I know with Pennsylvania, when you become a snowbird or you move to Florida, they say, oh, well, I'm sure the picking's good. Well, usually before they sell off their estate up here in the Northeast, they bring the bare minimum once they move down there. So hopefully that answered the question that, yes, we do. Sourcing isn't always that great because by the time, usually it's those seniors that are donating things, and or some of those facilities, when the seniors pass away, I do know that then they can air that estate to the thrift store to sell. But usually they've downsized themselves so much that the pickings aren't always that good.
I don't know of anything like that in my area of Michigan. I'm kind of on the west side of the state. There might be something over near Detroit. I'm not sure. I've never looked into that, but I certainly will to see if there is now. But I'm really not certain about that.
No, I mean, not that I'm aware of. We don't have. I mean, I'm in a small place in a small populated state, right? Like I think there's 4 thrift stores here. So, you know, I don't have a whole lot to choose from. But no, nothing like that.
I have never seen anything like that. If any of my Florida friends know of anything, let me know. I mean, I'm always like, I love my little church thrift stores. I just went to those last week. And it's hard because they're only open Friday and Saturday for like 4 hours. Right. You gotta there's a very little window. Yeah, I would be interested to know if there is something like that here. I think this is for you, Troy. Kelly would like to know, have you checked out the haunted house in Anaconda?
There's more than one. There's a lot. Anaconda Butte is full of creepiness. There, I've been to multiple places. Anaconda, I've been to Butte is the old hospital. I've been to that. I've been to several brothels in Butte. Anaconda, I've been to a brothel. There is right outside of Anaconda, I've become pretty good friends with a lady that owns Gunslinger Gulch is what it's called. It's basically a ghost town. That place is super crazy, and I've been there half a dozen times now. We were actually talking. I spent a career, a couple decades in newspaper, love writing, and we've had discussions. I think I'm going to start writing a book actually about the town. The buildings came from all different places. This guy built this town by buying some houses that were in town, some houses that were in the eastern Montana. And he built his own ghost town years ago. And now a different person owns it. But so I want to do some research into like the history of all these houses and how they came together. And yeah, so that place is it's super cool. I love Gunslinger Gulch, and that Conda, yeah.
All right. Troy is very, very popular. Patty wants to know Troy, and I totally forgot about this. Troy, they're asking, did you open an auction house? I know you had the hybrid thing. What's going on with that?
Yeah, and that was really hard. Like, I mean, we did okay. We learned some lessons about hybrid. We did. I am still officially a part of an auction house that was started. The business still exists and it's still there. We did. I don't remember how long we did for about a year. We did some auctions. One of the things that we discovered is It was sort of two sides of the coin. Is we got a lot of people coming in saying, hey, we'd like to try with you, but we've been bit before on high bid because they started all of our stuff at like 99 cents or $2 or whatever. And so much of our stuff sold cheap. Well, the larger auction houses, they have 500, 1,000 different lots. They don't care if it sells at $5. They're just churning through it and they're going volume. We were a smaller operation and we wanted to treat our people that we were consigning with well. So we tried to start it at a fair price, not necessarily top value, but at least a fair price. And I started to notice that you didn't get a whole lot of bids there. That's why the other people started at $1, $2, $3, because people are looking on high bid. There's so many auctions out there and you have to pay the shipping. They're looking for really good deals. And so it became really hard to treat your customer well and make a lot of money. And it was tough. And I think with high bid, if you keep doing it, you're going to build an audience, but it takes a while. You're going to basically suffer some losses until you build that repeat customer base. And so we did sort of scale back, and we're still doing stuff. We're just not doing it on high bid. We're sort of buying storage units, we're buying estates, we're buying stuff like that and selling it locally and selling it in the store. And we've talked about you don't have to have an auctioneer's license in Montana. And so we've talked about doing some live auctions because here in our city, we don't have those. And so it would be one, a novelty, and we'd get people, and two, it'd be kind of cool. And so we've been talking about doing like a once or twice a year live auction and trying that. So it's still around. It's just sort of, we're trying to find out exactly what it's going to look like. It's not going to be high bid because that just, it didn't work for us where we're at.
I thought about that myself and I'm like, man, like 1,500 lots a week.
Yeah,
like,
it's a
and
lot.
could I find that much stuff? Oh yeah, I can find it. Do I want to have to ship and have people come to my house to pick it up? Not so much. Not
Right.
really.
Right.
Silver Lining Life says, what's the most recent big change to your business?
Biggest change to my business, probably, and it's not recent, but it's been since the pandemic, is probably social media. I know Amy's been to my area, and I know Kat's been up to my area. I have stiff competition in my area. There are larger antique malls. I'm a small guy. I'm at the end. I'm 4,400 square feet. I think some of the largest ones in my area are like 14,000, 20,000 square feet. So I was a little guy, and the biggest change to my business was to be able to do the social media. I used to be a DJ and entertain people. So I kind of had the gift of gab, and I could put my face out in front of Mother Tucker's and kind of let people know how great of a store we are. So that would be the biggest change, the being able to do live sales on YouTube, whether they were on YouTube or Instagram, and do all the social media to bring them into my old-fashioned brick and mortar has been the biggest change for my business.
I would say like more recently that I have noticed it's been increasingly harder and harder to find things to purchase at a price point to make a profit. Trying to find, I don't know, because I sell on a regular basis with Jason next to me. We talk about this constantly, that it is getting more difficult. The more resellers that are out there, it is getting a little bit more challenging to find, number one, the quality of items that we like to bring at those price points. And right now it's getting harder to want to maybe pay up a little bit something versus maybe even a year ago. You might take a risk a little bit more paying up for something if it's real good, but that seems to be less and less these days. So I would just say it's getting harder to find stuff.
Good point.
I don't know if it's my turn. I froze again.
It
Oh,
is
no,
your
yeah,
turn.
it is. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
It's
like-
weird. It drops out and then it comes back and it's frozen. Yeah, I think for me, and I guess, like I said at the front end, I'm 2 years in, but probably having the ability to sell stuff locally in that booth. When I started it, it was a little bit of imposter syndrome because I'm selling a lot of the nostalgic, the Y2K or the 90s, 80s toys and comic books and video games and, stuff like that, that it's not your traditional vintage antique mall stuff. Right. And so I was like, I don't know if I belong in this place. And it's been really fun to see there's another guy it just happened that he parked right next to me. His booth is right next to me. And his house looks like the set of Nickelodeon. Like, I mean, he's got so many cool, because I sell my cool stuff online, right, to get top dollar. He doesn't sell much online. He sells a little on Etsy. All of his cool stuff comes into the store. And so with ours right next to each other, they feed each other. And we're consistently among the higher performing booths in the store. And so it's really cool to see that working and to be able to, I've slowly started to learn, like I sell vinyl online. There's some vinyl that will sell online. I picked up an Amy Winehouse vinyl the other day, just as an example. There's a ton of them online. The sell-through is not good. I put it in my booth for $20 and it sold in about 3 days. It would be sitting for 6 months on eBay. So some things that sell, it's that, they hold it in their hand and they go, oh, I remember this. The nostalgic, the in my hand, the in my face, you're touching it. Different stuff sells that way. And so I've been able to sort of change how I source and pick up different things that before I would have left behind. And now I know that's going to sell in the booth. And so that's a lot of fun to be able to change the way, so it changes it for me, keeps it fresh, and I'm able to sell more stuff. So it's fun.
I think my recent big change is upcoming with Brooke taking a job and me gonna have to try and figure it out. We have went back to live selling. That's probably about 3 or 4 months ago though, so it's not super new, and we have done that before. I keep trying, and I've done better at like focusing on more higher sell-through rate items and higher dollar items. I think I'm trying to downsize. It's not working. I'm not going to lie. I like buying stuff. I mean, I like selling stuff, but I like buying stuff. All right. We don't have much time left, and we still have over 20 questions. So we are definitely not getting to them tonight, but we will I'll probably do 2 or 3 more before we let everybody say bye. And I have both a sad and very happy announcement for you guys. I did not plan on making this tonight, but I am going to when it's my turn at the very end. So don't go anywhere because I think you'll want to hear it. Jovial Juggler said, hey, Kat, have you been to the Jericho on 19 lately? They've completely renovated and remodeled the interior. So here's the funny thing I'm going to tell you guys. Today, Tuesday, I somehow thought that I could go out on the boat and go scalloping, and I had a cryotherapy appointment, and I thought I was going to go to Jericho for their sale, their once a month sale. I know it was today. It sounds like you probably went, so I'm glad you got to go. So somehow I had all 3 of those things, and I thought I could do them and didn't realize they were all on the same day. So I have not been to Jericho in a while because the sale date keeps falling on days that I've already planned. I hate that they put it out. If you guys don't know, Jericho is a local thrift store to me. It's about an hour and a half away, and they text 2 days before the sale. They never do it the same day. It's not like a certain, because they don't want people or employees hiding stuff to put up for later. And so Sunday I got the text, but I'd had this boat trip scheduled today, for over a month. And that is how Jericho has fell for me the last 3 months. So I haven't been to Jericho, might even be 6 months. It's been a long time. And because I know they do the sale, I hate to go and pay full price. So I only go if it's the sale day, because they do $1 on all clothes up to $20. So you can get some amazing deals. And then they do 50% off everything else. So now that I know about the sale, I only go on sales days, even though they're really good stores. All right. Summer Rose says, where have you gotten your best sourcing tip? Now that I share my thrifting escapades on socials, friends and family send me all kinds of things.
I don't know that I get really great sourcing tips. It's funny. I've been in this business for a long time, and I hear folks get them. I don't know that I do. I just have some of my old stomping grounds that I go to, and I source primarily now online auctions. I used to get good tips before COVID that a lot of the auctions were in person. So if you went on a day like today, odds were usually you could get better deals because nobody was going to be out in the blazing heat or on a snowy day or something like that. So I'll make it short and sweet. I don't get a lot of great sourcing tips.
I'm just trying to think of an answer for that. I do have viewers and customers email me about different stores I should go check out next time that I'm in their state. I just had one recently about one I need to check out in Wisconsin the next time I go. So I do get those, but that's about all I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's changed being, again, being in the store, and I work in the store twice a week for for 4 hours a day, and so I get to see what is selling, and that gives me a good idea of what's moving through or what people are looking for. Hey, do you have this? But also, people will come in and say, I have some stuff. Are you interested? Sometimes they bring it. It's in their trunk. Sometimes, hey, today I forwarded a message, we're moving my mom out. We have all kinds of stuff. Do you buy things? It happens daily, multiple times a day. And so being there, I've been able to get access to some really cool collections and some cool estates and likewise then forward information if it's not my thing to somebody else. Today I was like, hey, she's got a lot of furniture and glass. It's not really my thing. Let me send you to somebody that I know that's theirs. And so, yeah, it's being in the store and having my business cards in my booth. People also will pick those up and they'll send me a message and say, hey, I see you have sort of the stuff that I have. Are you interested? Yeah, I mean, I am. And that way too, it helps. I saw somebody ask something about, people wanting to get better prices, like the prices that we're getting at the end. What do you do about that? When they're coming there, they understand. Like, I don't have to explain that part to them. They understand. Like, I'm selling this stuff at a certain point. I can't buy it at the same point.
Right.
Yeah, and I had somebody I was just talking about what I do, and they're like we just sold a $500 mid-century modern table. I still do very well with mid-century modern. And they're like, and I got it for $50 on an estate auction, and they're like, well, why would that person buy it for $500 and not buy it for $50 like you did? I'm like, because I found it. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. Like, it's our time, it's our knowledge. Like, we're the ones finding it. We're picking it up. We're taking photos of it. We have to ship it. That thing was a beast to ship. And I might actually, we shipped it on live shipping in my membership. So I might actually edit that part of my live shipping and put out like that clip just for people to see. It was like a 20 by 20 little end table with glass. And just a tip, if you're shipping a lot of big things, if you find cheap comforters at the thrift store or at like yard sales, ours are from house cleanouts, but like the mainstays, like the Walmart brand, I'm not going to list those. We keep them, and I use that for shipping fillers around my furniture stuff and things like that. Towels, stuff like that, like any bedding that you could, it's soft. And I just feel like it protects it a little better. So yeah. All right. Reselling with me D sent a $2 super chat. I'm going to throw something up. I don't know. Oh, what am I going to do? I want to do mermaids. I have mermaid nails. I'm getting new mermaid nails tomorrow. I'm going to do Yvonne Thrifty Rich made this one. She made my gator one too. And the Kevin one that I did not play for the first time in a long time. So I'm going to give you this one, and then I'll let everybody tell you guys bye. And again, I have a big announcement for you guys. So here you go, Dee. I always forget the merman's there. It's not just mermaids. There's a merman. All right. I appreciate all of you guys being here. I'm going to let all three of the guests tell you what they have going on, where you can find them, and then I will tell you what I have going on, and I'll give you guys my big announcement. So don't go anywhere. Here's Jason.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me tonight, Kat. I own an antique store, Mother Tucker's Antiques. So if you're coming to Lancaster County or the Adamstown area, please look us up. Come on in. I have 40 active dealers, so I have that going on. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do host live sales. I have one tomorrow night, along with Amie is my co-host tomorrow night. We've been doing Christmas in July, so that starts at 7 p.m. tomorrow night over on my channel. And then every single Thursday, I'm over on Amy's channel, Enamor Amie. I co-host with her a sale that we've been doing for years called Fantastic Finds. So we sell you all sorts of vintage there. And then we turn it over to you guys. So it's Fantastic Finds. We share the community's collections, whatever they send in to us. Tina has Whatnot sales every single Friday night, and they start at 7 p.m. Eastern. She's also going to start button sales and some linens. Check us out on eBay. Please follow me over on Instagram. Sometimes I pop over with some friends over there, and we do a sale there. And I think that's pretty much it for me. Thank you again, Kat.
Perfect. Here's Amie.
Thanks so much for having me on. Appreciate it. Jason already said we have a live sale every Thursday over on my YouTube channel at 8 p.m. Eastern, Vintage Antiques, and then our community share after that. So that's always a fun time on Thursdays. I also do monthly live sales over on Virtual Antique Marketplace, and I post statically over there all the time as well. I have a local antique booth in Allen, Michigan, at the Allen Antique Barn. That's open every single day, 10 to 5, and I think that's it for me. And I do Shop With Me videos every single Sunday. So if you want to check those out, I would appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Perfect. Here's Troy.
Yeah, and I've got the two YouTube channels. We got Mountain Man Treasure and Big Sky Paranormal. If you want to watch the spooky stuff, it's kind of fun over there. I enjoy doing that. Some new videos are coming for both of them. We also sell on Whatnot, but it's very pop-up, like very sporadic. And so give us a follow, and that way if we show up on there. I've got some wrestling stuff I think we're going to do on there very soon. It's always very different things that we're going to do, whatever I sort of get a lot of or buy a collection or whatever. So follow us on Whatnot. Follow the YouTube channels. We've got the vintage store. If you happen, you're more likely to be going through Lancaster, Pennsylvania than you are Helena, Montana. But if you show up in Montana, holler and swing by Bella Peacock of Vintage and Antiquery. We've got a couple of spots in there and some really cool stuff. And I did notice somebody asked, hey, do you miss being on the radio? And just since Kat's doing an announcement, I guess I'll announce to the world. It hasn't been officially announced yet, but my old radio station, I left radio about 5 years ago to do full-time reselling. They invited me back because they needed somebody to take over one of the two big high schools here in town. Their guy retired from announcing, and so I'm going to be doing. I'm the voice of the Helena High Bengals starting at the end of the month. Be doing their football and basketball games on the radio, and we'll be streaming that too. I know some people like to listen, so if you want to listen, check out the channel, and I'll have information on there about where you can find that. But yeah, getting back into the booth and announcing some games will be a lot of fun. So that's my announcement. I'm back sort of in radio, at least through the fall and the winter for sports. That's it.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to tell you guys this announcement at the beginning because I'm going to play a game with you guys for just a couple of minutes. And I will tell you, I saw this coming. I don't know if some of you did. Rod is very, very busy and has given me 2 weeks notice. He is leaving the podcast. I have found a replacement co-host who has been driving me crazy for years to have that spot. So I am really excited to have, I will say him, I will give you that, to have him sitting beside me every week. And I hope you guys will be as well. So that's the announcement, but I'm going to tell you all of my stuff while you're guessing who it is. I want you guys to guess. I want to see if you guys can get it. I got confirmation from him not long ago. And I'm just super excited about it. So I will have a video out tomorrow on what sold, and then I'll do a couple of research videos. Kevin, I will tell you, I've not seen who it is. So all of your guesses so far have been incorrect. So I will have the video out on what sold tomorrow. I have to record my videos tomorrow instead of today, like I normally did, because I went and went scalloping today. So I will I know I keep telling you guys that I'm trying to get a video out on my catch treasure hunting. I have recorded 3 of them. I promise I'm trying. I'm just running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And I will tell you guys, you did guess who it is. It is going to be Sunny Las Vegas. He has been a very, very good friend of mine for years. He has been asking me to be my co-host for years. I wasn't sure because him and Carla are expecting a baby now, and they've been trying for years to have a baby. He talked to Carla. I've got chills. He talked to Carla, and Carla has approved it. So Rod is not feeling good tonight. He told me 2 more weeks. So if he wants to fulfill that, I of course will let him. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And if it changes when the baby comes, no hard feelings. There's no hard feelings between me and Rod. There were no hard feelings with me and Julian. Being on a show every Tuesday is commitment. And I don't pay them. I don't pay anybody for being here. So I appreciate, like, Julian gave me over 2 years. Rod gave me over 2 years. And they get busy. We grow, life changes, and they don't, there's not enough time for everything that we do. So yeah. So again, no heart. I know, Marcia, I'll triple your pay. Okay. So yeah, super excited to have Sunny here. I'm sad to see Rod go, but I totally understand it, and there's no hard feelings. And you guys know, I'm assuming Rod will probably be okay with coming back on as a guest, just like Julian does years later. He still comes on with us sometimes. I am committed 110%, but this is my podcast, so I get it. When life gets too busy, they got to move on, and I'm good with that. So make sure you guys check out these 3. Jason, Amie, thank you so much for coming on. Troy, thank you for last minute filling in. I greatly appreciate it. And Scott for being willing to too. I appreciate that as well. So you guys, we can't do this without you. I appreciate all of you being here. I don't have an outro, so we're going to have to do like the old school wave it out. And we will see you guys soon. Thank you so much. Bye for now.